You're watching new car spin, and that buzzing sound, well, that's not the bugs, it's this. Because it's a hybrid. Duh. That is the Lexus TX 500H, and it's all-wheel drive. I even think it's four-wheel steering. It has a 5,000 pound towing capacity and an optional towing hitch. It's a three-row. Oh, it just kicked in. It's a three-row SUV, and this thing gave me hope when they first launched it, but that faded real fast. Because when they launched it, I thought, oh, thank God they're coming out with a replacement for the RX, which is just, the RX is so old. There's too many of them on the road. We need something different. And this is definitely different, but this styling, I don't know if you remember Spaceballs, the original, not the new one coming out, but in the original Spaceballs there was that white Mercedes spaceship gift for the king's daughter, the Druidia daughter, whatever. This reminds me of that spaceship because the shape, the nose is so long. There's like, look at this overhang here in front of the wheel, and compared to the gap to the A-pillar, it's really oddly shaped, and that's odd too because it looks like the hood kind of goes up. The problem here is not only the roof rack, which is out of place as well, which doesn't help the cabin comfort with noise level on the freeway at 70 miles an hour. Here in Texas we can do 80, but whatever. Look at it. Would you look at it? It's got a huge rear door, and I guess we'll go into the rear right now. Oh great. Did I log myself out? Nope. I guess I just didn't unlock myself. I think we do that. Still double check. There we go. We have shades. Okay. They don't really cover the full window, and they're not powered. And I'll gripe about this stuff because this car is practically $80,000. With the options it has, it's $79,000. And I frankly don't see where that money belongs. It's just like, sure, we have a third row here and we have space in the back, but it just doesn't scream $80,000 car at me. And when we get inside, I'll tell you why. First of all, these seats, because it's the F Sport, which is also ironic that we have a four-door, three-row luxury SUV with a sport package, even though it's, well, I'll get to the power in a minute. But look at the gap between the bolsters. I mean, it's practically, I don't know, 20 inches, if that. It's smaller than a seat on Southwest. Now, if you want to pay 80 grand for a car with a front seat that's smaller than the cheap seats on a cheap airline, you can go ahead and do that. But I don't know who you are. It does have the F Sport embossing on there though, which is funny because I complained about that in the last vehicle I drove. What else is going on back here? Huge sunroof. It actually opens up and splits in the center there. And then let me get to the center console, which, there we go. It's fairly deep. It's got some parts in there, probably from the roof rack. Oh yeah, the blanks that go up here. Power adjustable steering wheel, which I'm always a sucker for. And the electronic door handles here, you push the buttons to unlock. Now this thing is made in Indiana, so there are no tariffs on the production of it. But I got the window sticker right here for you, because I'm no longer fumbling in the glove box for you. So Princeton, Indiana, $79,000. And it's got a few options on it, which is weird, because it goes from 71.8 to 79. And I don't think those are $10,000 worth of options, but whatever. You know, you can pause the video and check that stuff out. I don't know why that's not standard on this car. because there is the Grand Highlander, which this is based off of, and unfortunately, actually, let me get out here and show you something. Let's do this. Bear with me here as I give you the tour. Now, it does say TX 500H, and your first thought is, oh, it's a V6, because weren't they going to have a V6 Grand Highlander? And the problem is, no, because it's the hybrid, it's the 4-cylinder. So it's an F Sport, which always stands for fanboy. Although you may argue with me, no, it stands for Fuji. See if I can get this open. Here we go. It's a 4-cylinder hybrid transverse mount. Scare the fishies like that. I don't know if that really shut or not. It's kind of sticky too. What the heck? Let me do that again. I guess I'll have to slam it this time. Oh. Yeah, it's in. Okay. Yeah, it's a funky style. But it has headlight washers, unlike the 4Runner TRD Pro. And that's, yeah. I don't know what's going on here. Either I'm getting old and picky and grumpy, or, you know, these new cars just aren't doing it. And we'll start here with this nav. It's a subscription nav, so it's not even real navigation. You have like a 3-year period, and then you got to pay to renew it, which you don't care if it's a lease, but you know, you buy one of these used, you got to pay like a monthly fee just to have your map appear and have navigation work, which is dumb. And then people go, oh, but there's Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Yeah, but then it's wireless, and then it eats your battery, and then you got to have your phone on the wireless charger all the time. And then this is okay, that's pretty cool. But then I have to stare at these ugly cup holders. That's ugly. I don't care what you want to say about how useful it is to be able to remove cup holders. In my car, I've never had or wanted to remove my cup holders. I don't know what you would put there in place of that. Okay. Great. Okay. We got the same thing back there too, and I guess, oh no, that lifts up. Oh, this is plastic everywhere. And what you'll notice though for $80,000 is there isn't a single speck of leather, because it's all animal free in here. It's that special, you know, temperature differentiating texture, blah blah blah. It just feels so fake in here, and that's the worst part. You know, fake everything. There's no wood, there's no leather, there's no metal. It's all plastic. So for $80,000, I'm highly disappointed, especially since it has this badge, which is, you know, obviously plastic because it's on the airbag cover. But here's the thing. These air vents, they are in a terrible spot because they're so low that they aim straight at your cup holder. So you aim them down, and then they cool your matcha decaf latte whatever nonsense, and then you bring it up, and then it goes straight to your face. It doesn't go any higher, so it just goes here. And then if it was normal, like over here or up higher, you know, you could get it to go over you. And so when it goes over the cabin, you know, in Texas, you'll feel cooler, especially with this gigantic glass roof that lets in all the light to heat the car up. So there's some downfalls here, and that is basically these air vents are terrible. They never aim in the right spot, and they're hard to control. They're kind of fumbly, and I find myself always fumbling with these air vents all the time in this car. And this is the first car where I'm just never happy with where this air is going, and that's the weirdest thing to complain about. But trust me, it's so annoying that it's a big turnoff. Okay, I don't understand why they did vents like this, but just their location is horrific. I don't enjoy driving it based on that air vent location. The other thing is, when you look around, okay, you got the skinny seats, you got the pass-through there, you've got no Alcantara headliner, which is weird because the Lexus GX has one. No, it doesn't. They got rid of their suede headliners except for the LS and the LSC, the SC and the LS. So that brings me to the whole point of the way this thing is and the way it rides. Because they tried to give it like this Lexus ride quality, but all it does is this. It just goes this way and this way and this way. It never smooths any kind of surface out. Any little undulation in the road, you know, small bumps, whatever, it absorbs it. But then anything bigger than a half inch, it like transmits it into the cabin to let you know it's working hard or something. And the problem is you're driving along and your headlights or whatever, you're constantly doing this. So every time you're in the car, you just do this. And I know that's annoying, isn't it? But this is what it's like to ride in the TX. This is what it's like. This is what it's like. I'm not even going to drive it because I'm just going to show you. This is, you like that? Yeah, I thought you did. All right. So here's the thing. Strange because it kind of holds the road well on these Continentals, but they're the cross contact LX20 Eco Plus, and I think they're really just engineered for two things: noise and fuel efficiency. But they actually do quite a good job holding the road. And I think the whole point of Lexus having an updated suspension versus the Grand Highlander, which is this is based off of, is that it has the four-wheel steering. And obviously there's just some pretty big wheels. These are the 22s, 2545 R22. But the problem is plastic, metal. So the black piece is metal, the gray part is plastic. I haven't seen that since Chrysler. Chrysler does that. That's a Mopar move right there. And I don't know if that's $80,000 worth of wheel design, to be honest. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about what this really is. This is a 3-row $80,000 version. Okay, so it's a luxury version without leather of the, well, next week's car will be the Grand Highlander, which this is also. So this is a Grand Highlander, but for $80,000 with no leather. But the Grand Highlander is $20,000 less, fully loaded. Okay. And then they both have 3 rows, but they're all based on the Highlander. So this is a luxury, no leather, 3-row version of a 3-row version of a dryer sheet box. See what I did there? So I'm not happy with it because it's way overpriced. And again, it's made in Indiana, so I don't see where tariffs come into play here. Because everyone seems to say, oh, poor Toyota. But, and I know the Grand Highlander will have the same problems here with the layout, but I really am disappointed in the air vent locations. The one thing I do like, though, is the heads-up display, because even if you hover over these buttons here, you start to see, like, your options. Now that's pretty cool. They put a lot of R&D, or maybe they just had a smart person work it out. And then if you hit this more button here, you can actually flip the use of those buttons. And then it happens the same on this side too. Now a couple Lexuses have that, not just the TX. And I really think that that's a valuable piece. But the only problem is, like, you can control the music here, but you can't control the volume on the same buttons. So you're constantly jumping around. You know, I wish you could program those buttons there so that, you know, you can have volume and track, whatever, you know, little stuff. But that all makes this is what it's supposed to be, which is like a luxury car for, I don't know who buys this, but it's got skinny seats, it's got 3 rows, and it's $80,000. You can get the Volvo XC90, you can get the Mazda CX-90, you can get the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, you can get what else has a 3rd row? Oh, the Lexus GX. I mean, why would you get this, and where does this slot in, and why didn't they use this to kill off the RX? It's super disappointing. And every time I say Lexus, it tries to intervene here. Well, now it won't do it. But anyway, there you go. This is a strange vehicle. I do not understand it. I do not understand who buys it. But if you want one and you get one, yeah, good for you. I don't think you should be buying anything else, to be honest, because I really don't understand you. This is how you get out, by the way. You push on that. And I've complained about this in the RX and the NX, so I'm not going to complain about it here. But it's just so strange that I can't quite I'm just done. I've been reviewing cars for 10 years, and I never thought cars would go in this direction. Okay, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, where's the leather? Where's the real wood or metal? Where's the pizzazz? It's so bland and stark and boring in here for 80 grand that I think it's more just like a statement piece. And I think you will only find these in Druidia. That's the problem. It's like, where would you ever see an $80,000 Grand Highlander? It's not going to be in Texas because the ride is terrible. And the other thing that's really sadistic, and I don't know who at Toyota did this. It must be those mask-wearing people from a couple years ago. But basically, you have a sport mode, which actually makes it ride a little firmer, which is the better way to go, but then it translates all the small undulations into the car too. So you can't go with that. But then if we go into climate, right, sometimes the car will only activate in S mode. So when you get in and it's like 105 degrees out instead of 91, the car doesn't cool down fast enough because the S flow is activated, which means it directs air only to occupied seats, which is dumb. They should know if it's hot out or cold out, you know, if it's beyond a certain range, that should be automatic. It hasn't been automatic in this car. It's been defaulting to whatever standard that is. Anyways, you can tell this is not my cup of tea, and these seats are too small. The ride is too bouncy. It needs work. And I think if they did a better job, they can get rid of the RX with this. But it needs leather, it needs wood, it needs metal, it needs something, because this does not pass the test. And then these air vents are ridiculous. They're constantly, you can hear it. That's all you hear is this air vent. So it's not really a road trip car. I'd rather have a Dodge Durango at this point. So anyway, there you go. That is the Lexus TX 500H. I'm not even driving it because the one thing I've had is a complaint about how it rides or how you feel when you get out of the vehicle. So I've had a couple people in this car and they've complained about the bounciness, which apparently is better in here than in the Grand Highlander. We're going to find out tomorrow. But I think the reason why I feel so sick when I get out of this car is a combination of the ride and the off-gassing, the volatile organic compounds, the new car smell, if you will, of all the fakeness that's going on in this car because there's no real leather. I'm just breathing in all of this plastic. It's plastic everything and plastic everywhere. Speaking of the dryer sheet box, there's one. This is the newest generation based on that, which I don't know what that is. What year that is, don't quote me on it, but basically this is the 3-row luxury version of that, which makes no sense in my mind. But anyway, there you go. Proper way to end the video. Bye.